What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear dirty pair? You know what? Actually, don't tell me the answer to that. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back. It's your boy Chili, back with another edition of Anime Review in 10 minutes or less, but we're gonna switch it up a little bit this time. So with the constant inundation of seasonals, 25 to 30 shows coming out every single season, it's impossible to keep up with all of those and also hit that backlog that's just been building up in your My Anime list. I've always been a fan of some older shows, whether it's from the 90s or earlier, because I feel like there's something about that aesthetic that the newer shows, while they are absolutely beautifully animated, they just miss out on capturing that grittiness. The 90s gave us some absolute bangers and some staples, just like, Cowboy Bebop, Sailor Moon, Trigun, among many other shows, but I wanted to go back a little bit further and touch on some shows that released in the 80s and maybe even before. So this video will be the first edition in that new series where we touch on some more retro anime. And of course, we're gonna call this Retro Reviews. So for this first edition of Retro Reviews, we're bringing it back to the summer of 1985. Yep, 1985, baby. 1985. Let me ask you a quick question. What if I told you could get the dope aesthetic from Cowboy Bebop, the humor of Panty and Stocking, and some badass women like in Charlie's Angels? I got another question for you. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear dirty pair? You know what? Actually, don't tell me the answer to that. Without further ado, the show I'm going to be talking about in this video, you could have guessed it, it's called Dirty Pair. In this super fun sci-fi adventure comedy, we follow the lovely angels, Kei and Yuri. Kei and Yuri are two highly trained, capable agents called Trouble Consultants. They refer to themselves as the lovely angels, while the rest of the world refers to them as the dirty pair. Because while these Trouble Consultants will solve whatever problems you have going on, if they send you the dirty pair, they might cause you some more problems on the side. As I said before, the show came out in the summer of 1985 and was brought to us by Sunrise, who, is responsible for some pretty big shows like Cowboy Bebop, Code Geass, Daily Lives of High School Boys, Inuyasha, Gundam, among many others. In the same fashion as Cowboy Bebop and many other older shows that released back in the day, this is an episodic series that you can basically jump into at any time and enjoy it along the way. There's a few episodes here and there that form their own little 2 or 3 episode mini arcs, but it's nothing that you need to stay completely focused on, that you're missing like an overarching crazy story. Before we really even get into the nitty gritty of the show, the opening is a certified banger. I don't know how I've never heard of this opening before, and I would completely understand if somebody had this in their top 10 anime openings of all time. When you're talking about retro, this opener is the perfect segue into one of the most retro shows I've ever seen. As I said before, the aesthetic is chef's kiss. It's almost like Cowboy Bebop, but a little bit goofier almost, and a little bit brighter with the colors and the background and the flashing lights and everything going on. But I promise you, when you watch the first episode, you'll be dragged right in right away. Kei and Yuri have to go down as one of the great duos to come out of any anime. Their relationship and interactions together are absolutely hilarious, and they never miss a chance to take shots at each other. The thing I absolutely love about them as a pair and individually is, even though they're badasses, they still have that sweet, cute, wanna go out, hang out with friends, wanna go on dates side to them that I feel like is missed out on in a lot of anime. Whenever there's a good-looking man involved in a mission, one of them is always trying to flirt with the man while the other one takes shots at them, calling each other cake face for wearing too much makeup, or saying, their hips are getting a little wide. Kei is definitely the aggressive one. Her favorite weapon of choice is a large gun, and she has a very short fuse. At the same time, you have Yuri, who's a little more laid back, a little contemplative, but they both love flirting with men and showing off their bodies whenever they can. They don't really care what others think about them, and they just want to show themselves in an attractive way whenever they get the chance. With that being said, although their uniforms are basically bikinis, it's not done in a way that makes the fan service seem over top. Like, there really is no fan service at all, especially no boob physics or anything like that. They're both assertive and resourceful ladies with a solid sense of purpose and empowerment. Especially Kei, who can be described as spiteful and vengeful when she's annoyed. Yuri is a quiet, deep-thinking individual who loves romantic men and longs for her childhood sweetheart, Billy. Her weapon of choice is a small-caliber hand blaster, and Kei often makes fun of her for having such a would-be gun. Regardless of their two very different personalities, when it comes to protecting or caring about the other one, there is no limit to how much they love each other. Especially in the case of Yuri, whenever Kei is in harm's way, it's hard to tell if the actions being carried out by Yuri are that of a mother figure or that of an unrequited lover. I only say this because the two have known each other since at least grade school and are at minimum absolute best friends, and on rare occasions, it hints at something a little deeper beneath the surface. Moving on though, while the show is absolutely hilarious almost every episode, there are some moments that get a little deeper and kind of catch you by surprise. One of my favorite moments like this occurs in episode 7.
それほどまでに私のことがお嫌いなんですか？
当たり前だお前は。お前は元はといえば男ではないか。
男？
やめてよパパ。過去の話なんかどうだっていい。今のジョアンカは立派な女性だ。
いくら手術を受け体が女であっても断じてお前たちの仲を許すわけにはいかん。
だからどうしたっていうのよ。頭古いんじゃないの？今や10人に1人は展開手術を受けている時代なのに、あんたの秘書よりマシだよ。
It's one of those things that tends to happen in older anime that when you watch it later you say, wow, this was really ahead of its time. The animation is nothing special, but it definitely gives you those 80s over-the-top expressions and gestures when characters do silly things or have big moments. And that's actually one of the parts of the show that I absolutely loved. You don't need to be super engaged with every single episode, so this can definitely be more of a background show for you if that's what you decide to do. But there are some episodes that will catch your attention and have you hooked the whole time. Like I said, the animation isn't amazing, but it's quirky enough to keep you engaged without making you feel like you're watching a slideshow or anything like that. Looking at you, wave the house husband. Lastly, one of the most important parts when it comes to older anime, I think the music is amazing. Every action sequence, funny sequence, the more serious sequence, the music hits perfectly and it gives you that retro cyberpunk vibe every single time. At the end of the day, I'm really happy I watched this show and it made me more excited to check out some more anime from the 80s. If you want to switch it up from trying to keep up with 35 seasonals every single season and you want to change up the aesthetic of what you're watching, I think this is the perfect show for you. It's fun, it's exciting, it's quirky, it's hilarious, and if you're a fan of that older aesthetic, you definitely have to check it out. You can watch Dirty Pair on Retro Crush or Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has done a great job recently adding some more older shows to their catalog, but if you really want to check out all those old shows, you want to see a massive catalog of older shows, Retro Crush is the way to go. The main series runs for 24 episodes, there are some OVAs and there are some movies as well as a continuing series, but this review is only based on those first 24 episodes. I would give Dirty Pair a 7.5 out of 10. Well, I would give Dirty Pair a 7.5 out of 10. I don't think I would recommend it to everyone because I know there are some people out there that are not fans of that older aesthetic, and if that's you, maybe this show isn't for you, but if you're willing to explore your horizons a little bit and check out something new, I think this one is worth the watch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to look out for the next retro review. Be sure to subscribe, share, do all of that good stuff. I'll put all my socials in the description below. And until next time, much love. Peace. Bebop aesthetic, a little more goofier, a little brighter than the Cowboy Bebop, and resourceful ladies with a solid